Good day, everyone. I am Melmar Tumanda, and our topic for today is all about GRASP framework. Now, this topic is under in lesson 19, authentic assessment. Now, speaking of authentic assessment, this will teach us how are we going to evaluate or create the appropriate authentic activity for our students. Now, again, how are you going to evaluate or create an appropriate activity, authentic activity? Well, DepEd recommended us to use this GRASP framework in order to ensure collaboration, interaction, active participation in learning. Now, first of all, let us define the word framework. What do you mean by the word framework? According to a dictionary, it is an essential supporting structure. Okay, the keyword here is structure or underlying a concept or a text. So, okay, at the end of this lesson, the objective is to define the meaning of GRASP framework, understand the template of GRASP framework, and construct an example. So our quiz is mostly on constructing an example of GRASP framework. But before that, again, what GRASP stands for? Well, GRASP stands for goal, role, audience, situation, product, or it could be the performance and purpose. And last one is standards. Now, to learn more about what are these six words here are the definitions. Now, goal. This is the statement of problem or challenge to be solved by our students. So, the goal of this lesson is to touchdown. That is goal. Oops. Next is role. So this explains the scenario. So the role of the students, that is the keyword. And what are they being asked to? So example role ng student is to be for example, sa dula or sa theater or role play. They have different roles to play with. So that is the role. Next is audience. So who they need to convince or to who they present the output or the outcome or propose a solution to the problems. So, kanino nila ito i-present? Again, the audience is not limited to the teacher. So this could be their classmates or parents, or if not parents, the people surrounded or within the school or outside the school. Outside the school, it could be their parents and so on, so forth. So we're done with the audience. Let's move on to the situation. So ano ba yung situation? So situation, it provides the context and any additional factors affecting the situations. I will provide an example after this so that you can learn ano ba yung tinutukoy ng GRASP. Next, product. So product, it explains the product or performance that needs to be created. Again, needs to be created. It's purpose. So ito yung gagawin nila enable to express or to execute the goal. Last one is standard. So explains the learning standards that must be met and each criterion of evaluating the product or performance and how the output will be judged by the audience. So standard or the things, the level or the quality of their performance or product that they need to achieve, the students need to achieve. Okay, let's move on to the example. Example number 1 here. So this is a scenario, okay? This is a scenario. You or us, okay, tayo muna. As a student, you are a member of a team of scientists investigating deforestation of the Papua New Guinean rainforest. Now, you are responsible for gathering scientific data. Ano daw gagawin mo? Gathering scientific data and producing a scientific report in which you summarize current conditions, possible future trends, and the implication for both Papua New Guinea and its broader influence on our planet. Now, your report which you represent to a United Nations Subcommittee. Saan nyo represent? Sa United Nations Subcommittee. Now, should include detailed and fully supported recommendations for an action plan that are clear and complete. Now, this scenario, we will identify what are the goals, the role, audience, saan natin to i-represent, ano ba yan? Situation, the product, and the standards. So, here is the answer for our number 1 example. So, okay, the goal of the first example is to determine current deforestation conditions and possible future trends. So, yun ang goal ng example number 1. Next, role. Sino ang gaganap? It is us, the student, as a member of a team of investigative scientists. That is the role according to the context. Next, audience. Saan natin i-represent? Nandun, no? Sa dito. You will present to a United Nations subcommittee. So, that is why nakalagay dito, targeted audience is the United Nations subcommittee. Next, situation. Ano bang mangyayari sa activity na ito? Well, the scenario, you have to inform. They must inform the United Nations Subcommittee of the effects of deforestation on the Papua New Guinean rainforest and convince them to follow the recommended action plan. So, dapat ganyan ang mangyayari sa activity. Ganyan dapat ang drama or scenario. Next is the product. So, the product is to create clear and complete action plan. Makikita naman yan doon sa the text. Next, the standards. Ano ba ang standards nila? The standards by which the product will be judged are detailed and fully supported recommendation in action plan that is both clear and complete. Makikita natin yan dito sa the last part. Saan ba yan? Saglit. Ayan. So, ayan. Detailed and fully supported recommendation for an action plan that are clear and complete. That is the standard. Dapat ma-meet nila yung standard according to the instruction. So, that's it. That is an example or a simple way or simple example of identifying or filling those GRASP framework, identifying the goals, roles, audience, so on, so forth. Now, that is just example na random scenario. How about within the classroom as teachers naman tayo, no? For example, nasa curriculum natin na dapat we should let the students your students should be able to learn about numbers and number sense. So nandyan, demonstrate the order of operation, proportion, percent, exponent, integers, express one value sa fraction, and so on and so forth. So first, ano lang yan? Data. So, okay, let's focus on the topic, which is numbers and number sense. How are you going to implement this topic? Okay, how can you create a authentic assessment by with that can implement this topic? So, you can use GRASP framework, diba? In order to identify the things that you need to consider. Number 1 is the goal. So, ito ay example lamang, no? Using GRASP framework. So, nakalagay dito na example is design a personal budget out of your weekly allowances that will allow to save a target amount of money. So, yun ang goal nila. So, the keyword is design a personal budget. So, you can implement the topic here, no? Which is understanding what? Which of this one? It could be the integers. Or again, the numbers and number sense. So, again, this is the goal or the learning the outcomes of their activity. Next, role. So, the role, they could be financial analyst or beginner businessmen who's planning to put up a certain business. Now, in order to make this happen, you have to save your initial capital. So, may nakaset ng role para sa kanila. Anong gagawin nila? Ano ba sila in this activity? Next, audience. So, saan nila ito ipresent to activity na to? Well, they can represent their plan of a personal budget to your guardian, parent, or to a person providing your finances. So, doon nila ipresent yung personal budget nila or weekly allowance. Next, situation. So, ito yung drama or ito yung flow ng or dapat mangyari to sa activity. Situation. You have to create a plan, okay? Create a plan out of their personal budget mismo with details on how much you have. Okay? Dapat nakapaloob dun kung anong how much they have, magkano yung meron sila, and how much you plan to spend. Magkano din yung igagastos nila, and then itemizing what you plan to spend your money on. So, i-indicate nila doon kung saan nila ipaglalaan yung pera nila or yung budget nila, and then future plans to generate savings and income. So, it includes savings and income. So, that should be the situation when they execute the activity. Last one, product. So dito na i-express nila yung activity nito. So the plan should be presented with chart, graph, and time frame with calculations. Itemized list of what will you be spending your money on, reflecting your personal choices. In the end, reflect on the choices you did as regards to how much and what you choose to buy. So yan na. Nakalagay na dito kung anong instruction. Dapat naka-chart, naka-graph, time frame, with nakakalkulado na lahat, nakalista yung items, and nandun din yung choose to buy or how much they have to spend. Okay, last one is standards. So this is where they can evaluate their work or their product. So the proposal has to be clear and detailed. Again, clear and detailed. That is the standard. So the reflection should indicate your personal choices and values. Okay, another standard is personal choices and values. Hindi lang yung basta-basta lang kinukuha sa internet. So that should be one of the things that they need to consider in their output. So this is the actual activity, no? Yung pinagtatakal natin kanina. Ito yung tinutukoy ng GRASPS framework. Personal budget template. Ayan, dito yung income nila, yung what they have, how much they have. Meron pang mga months, no? In total. And then the expenses or the things where they have or the items that they need to spend their money. So ayan nakalagay dito. Household expenses, mortgage, grocery, vegetables, and so on. So ito yung tinutukoy ng GRASPS framework or ng activity. Okay? Ito din yung okay, this is the rubric to evaluate your GRASPS framework na ginawa mo. So, excellent if you have 1 to 2 statements. Single bar graphs, no numerical error, no mistake in the bar. So, rubrics lang pala to. So, this is just the rubrics of the activity. Okay, I provided here a template so you can easily start your GRASP framework without any hesitant kung ano ilalagay dito sa role, audience, situation. So, ayan. Go, for example, sa goal. Your task is to. Diba? The goal is to. Simple as that. Simple as that. Standards. Your performance needs to have this, needs to reach this, and so on and so forth. So, you can follow this GRASP framework template to create your GRASP framework. So, what are the benefits? Ito na. What are the benefits when you use GRASP framework in making or assessing authentic assessment? So, number one, it can develop authentic learning experiences. So the GRASP structure has is structured already that allows you to fill in or identify the the kind of learning, the kind of learning that your students need to experience on. So, nandun na nakalagay na yung goals, roles, di ba? Next, GRASP framework has clear presentation of the purpose. Yan pa lamang. Clear presentation of the purpose and content of a project-based inquiry. So, kadalasan talaga ginagamit ang GRASP framework when you are requiring your students a project, no? Project-based inquiry. So, naka-frame na doon lahat. So, madali lang i-identify yung purpose ng activity mo. Next, it clarified the roles, perspective, and responsibilities of the student. So, dito, napaka beneficial sa teachers as well as the student kasi malalaman nila kung ano yung gaganapin nila in that kind of activity. So, di ba, it is included in the GRASP framework, the roles of the students. Next, communicate the expectations of the inquiry. So, the structures allows or gives you the yung framework mismo is very clear na. It's just a two by two table. Nandito yung goal and then the instruction. So it is very easy to communicate your expectations as a teacher to your students. So hindi lang to beneficial sa teachers, no, in order to express your expectations, but also for your students to understand what kind of activity you are giving to them. So, that's it. One of the benefits. Last one is guide the selection of learning experiences, content, and skills necessary for success. Now, teachers can think critically, no, before implementing an activity. Para kasi siyang lesson plan, 'di ba? When we teach a lesson, we have to make a lesson plan. Hindi tayo basta-basta lang bibigay kasi we don't know what to do and it could be time consuming kung at that time ka pa mag-think kung anong ipapagawa mo sa kanila. So, again, same as lesson plan, GRASP framework can help you learn or think critically what to implement in your lesson. And aside from that, you can be creative, no? Kasi na-apply na doon, nandun yung roles, saan nila i-represent, ano dapat yung standards na dapat i-meet nila, no? Ano yung product, ano dapat makikita sa product, and so on, so forth. So, in that kind of framework, you can give your students that kind of high quality learning experiences. No, kasi naka-detalyado na naka-guide na ano yung expectations na dapat makikita sa assessment or sa activity na iyon. So, I guess that would be all. Yes, there are just 5 benefits. And I think it could be more than that. But these are the main or the common benefits sa GRASP framework. Okay? Before I end this report, let me tell you that we have a quiz. So you have to construct a very simple example of GRASP framework. So you can choose whatever topic or scenario or lessons, and from that lesson you should create a GRASP framework. Send it screenshot to my messenger account, Melmar Tumanda. Yung walang J ha, Melmar Tumanda lang na account. That's it. The end. Thank you for listening. Again, this is Melmar Tumanda, your reporter for today. Bye-bye.